Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving with the topic that is the life cycle of machine learning. This is the most important part of your AI journey. I understand once you finish the Python programming language, you directly jump onto the machine learning portion and you start implementing to build the model, process the data, uh, and then evaluate the model. Maybe sometime you deploy it too, right? But you don't know exactly what is the actual process of the or life cycle of the machine learning. You just know I need to load the data set is available, right? Then I need to extract the feature and then I will prepare the model just handling missing value and outliers. That's it, right? So this is the way how you learn the machine learning, but this is not actual the real picture. In this, there are a lot of stuffs involved in this. So that's why I'm making this video to build your strong foundation in the machine learning. Once you watch this video, you will never stuck at any point. You can take your notebook and pen, you can draw the all process with me while watching this video and try to understand the each and every step in a detail. Once you understood this all steps, you will never stuck at any point, and it will also let you know what different like the roles do what different type of the task at each step. What does it mean? If you are joining as a data analyst, it doesn't mean you need to build the model and deploy it, because this is the job of data scientist. And which tools you required for this thing, I will also explain you. It will it's an additional knowledge I am adding in this, so it will help you to understand even what skills you should be master before jumping into the machine learning, what skills you should learn. Okay, so this is going to be very useful video for you today. So just pick up your notebook and pen and just draw the process with me and become expert in machine learning. Okay, so now let me open my whiteboard. All right, so here you can take your notebook if you want, and I am going to type each and every step in detail along with the job duty, the persons who is going to do what. Okay, so we will give here the first your heading, life cycle of machine learning. Believe me, like whenever you are learning the Python is just the tool to implement everything. But the actual process is this. If you understood this process, using Python to implement it practically, it's very easy for you. Okay. So now we will start with the first step. So here we will draw. This is your step one. Okay. We call it business operation or problem identification. Problem identification. Okay. So in this, what task you need to perform? This is the part of this one. Okay. This is not next step. So what task you are performing at this step? Okay. So you are going to identify the problem. Identify the problem. Okay. Define the clear objective. Define clear objective. Okay. And then you will also understand the machine learning project with the company goals too. Okay. So this is very important. Here, who is involved in this? There are mainly two persons involved. So roles involved, stakeholder and subject matter expert. Okay, so this is the task you are going to perform at this step, and these are the roles involved. Now I will tell you who is doing what. Stakeholder is going to tell you the problem. For example, he has the data of a bank, right? He want to predict you like the fraudulent cases of happening with the credit card in real time. He want you to predict that. He want to use a machine learning model to solve this problem. So this is a job of stakeholder. Then you can have, if you are a data scientist, data analyst, you are going to discuss with the stakeholder. And subject matter expertise or domain expertise is also going to help you to understand about the data, relationship between the feature, importance of the features given in the data set, about the units, everything in detail. So this is the biggest mistake. Student only read one line. I need to predict the house sale price. I need to classify the heart disease. I need to identify the scores, something like that. After beyond that, they don't even try to understand about the information about the feature exist in the data. They just thought I will look using the Python. But this is the biggest mistake you do, because till you don't understand the relationship between the feature without talking to the subject matter expertise, so it is going to be hard for you to decide when you will do the feature engineering, because you don't know which feature is most important if you don't have the knowledge of the domain, especially. So in case at a beginner level, you may be thinking from where I will get the subject matter expert. I am at a beginner level, I am at a learning stage. So you can do one thing at least, where your data dictionary is given, just to read those features in detail, what they are asking you to do, what is the use of this feature. And then there is a Google, you can ask, search on the Google, take the help from the Google. Okay. And you can also like look at the cases where people are talking about these features of like the banking information. Okay. So this is going to be very, very helpful for you. So in this, you basically use the what tools you are going to use here. You can use the Tableau. So maybe you are thinking, I use the Tableau for visualization. Yes, you use it for the visualization too. You can use a Jira, you can use a BI tool. Okay. But in Tableau, when you load the file, it will show you the importance of, detail about the each feature. It will also tell you the units about the feature. It will give you the detailed information about the features. Even you can watch my playlist about the Python, where I am telling you there is a one query you can write using Python. It is going to tell you the even the correlation of each feature with the target. So you can check it at an initial level. This is called profile reading or profile reporting in Python. Okay. So you can use this one too. Okay. So we can write it inside. This is tools. Okay. So this is, you can use Tableau, you can use the BI tool, and you can also use the Jira management tool. Okay. So this is the first step. Okay. Now we will move ahead. We will talk for the second step of your machine learning life cycle. Okay. So that is what this is known as your model development. Okay. So this is your second step. Under this, you will start with the data preparation. Okay. So now the here you will start with the data preparation. Okay. For the data preparation, your tasks are involved. The tasks are involved. For this one is, you will gather the data. Sometimes you already have the CSV file with you, but sometimes you need to gather it from different location, from different databases using web API and much more. Okay. So this is your task. Either you join as a data analyst, either you like join as a data scientist. This is your duty. But here, which roles are involved, I will tell you, and who is going to do what. And then here in this, your second task is pre-process the data. Clean and pre-process the data. This is also the part of your this data preparation. Okay, so you will do this thing. And the example is, if a bank collects the transaction data with the details like transaction amount, location, and time. Okay, so you are going to check about the data, and you are going to clean and pre-process. You will check if there is any missing value, right? You are going to check the outliers. Okay, and then you also need to normalize the data. Okay, so this is all steps can be done, roles involved in this: data engineers and data scientists. So data engineer, or either you are a data analyst or you are data scientist, data analyst. Okay, they are going to perform all these steps. It depends upon the company size. If maybe if you have joined the big company, you have the this team too. So this job is going to be done by these two persons, not for you if you have joined the big company. But if you are working with the mid-sized companies, and also sometimes, like, depend on, you need to do everything from start, from step one. There will be the no separate person to perform this. So this is very important to you, for you to understand the whole process. Okay, and then the tools you can use for this, there are more steps. So let me finish these steps. The next step is feature engineering. You will perform under this feature engineering. So what you are going to do in this, you are going to like do the feature selection here. Okay, you will select and transform the variables to improve and accuracy, and you will also convert the raw data into meaningful features. Sometimes you need to create a new feature from the existing two features. Okay, this is also the one of the case. I will give you the very good example. For fraud detection, useful features might be transaction frequency, right? Because you want to look at the transaction frequency, then only you will be able to predict, right? The number of transaction per user per day. And you will also, the most important is location anomaly. So checking if the user suddenly transact from the another country, then it might alarm you. This is the fraud case, right? Normally the people are living here. Sometime it happen, right? So you can recheck. So this is called feature engineering, and you are just looking at which feature is most important for your model building. Okay, and in this again these three peoples are involved. Now the third step is, okay, so let's first understand the tools as well. Okay, so for the first step, for this one, what tools you need for the data preparation? You will use here pandas, numpy, web api. If you are collecting the data, you will use the databases. You can use the apache. Okay, so several things is here. Okay, and for the feature engineering, you will use, here we can also add the SQL too. It is also a part of your database. Okay, and for the feature engineering, you are going to use scikit-learn. There are many like the inbuilt method you can use from scikit-learn. This is a machine learning very popular library. And you can also use the Vertex AI, very popular. You can watch my feature engineering playlist if you want. And there is a one inbuilt tool of the from the Python feature tools. Okay, and yes, you can talk to the subject matter expert too if you want. If you have already talked before, now you can use these tools to choose your feature, because it's just implementation now, because you have already talked with the here subject matter expert, right? And you know which feature is important. Okay, so this is where, that's why I'm saying you this is very important. Okay, so we will make it little above. Now we will talk about the third part of this process, model training. Okay, this is also very important. In this, what your task will be, I will write down the task here. So in the model training, you will train multiple models. Okay. Maybe single model, it depend upon your requirement. It can be random forest, linear regression. Okay. It can be deep learning neural network. It depends. Here you are going to use your supervised, unsupervised reinforcement machine learning according to your problem. Okay. So now you will also, during the model training, you will also need to perform another task. This is called your tuning, the hyperparameter of your model. Okay. So you need to watch my playlist, but here I will give you one example. Let's say you are applying the random forest. During the random forest, you want to set the depth of your model. So your model can be expert and try to understand the pattern at a deeper level and give you the good prediction. At that time, you will set the hyperparameter depth, maximum depth of the tree, 10, 20, whatever you like. Okay. So this is, you will tune your model using the hyperparameter. The real-time example for this one is, let's say the bank experiments with different fraud detection model, like random forest for the high interpretability and good accuracy. Maybe they use deep neural network better at detecting complex fraud patterns, right? And for this, the common framework you are going to use, the tools involved in this is your scikit-learn, again, your machine learning model library, very important, and TensorFlow, this is from deep learning, and maybe PyTorch too, right? So these are the very common tools you are going to use for this one, model training. Okay. So this is model. The next step for your model development part is model evaluation. You will say you have already done these steps. So you restrict yourself till this step two actually. Okay. You thought this is a machine learning, complete machine learning life cycle, but this is the one part of your machine learning life cycle. Okay. Model evaluation and comparison. So now these are the four steps come under the model development. Okay. I have mentioned you the all task based on that. What you are going to do now in this, what is your task? Here we can write it. Okay. So we can make it little above. Now, what is the task of model evaluation and comparison? You will evaluate the models using matrices like accuracy, precision, recall, and F1 score. Okay. So these are all are the like the your evaluation model matrices for the classification for your neural network for your like you can say regression. Okay. And here I will recommend you always, if you are working with the your regression model, apply all regression matrices, and if you are working with the classification, apply all regression matrices, oh sorry, classification matrices for that. Don't rely on a single matrices, but definitely I will make a one separate video on this, which your metric you should work with one at what stage and what is the benefit of each metric. Okay. So now here these are the your tools. Okay. Now I will give you the very good example. Let's say if your precision is too low, so too many real transaction may be flagged as a fraud. Precision, and if recall is too low, the model may miss actual fraud cases. So this is we are talking about, because the real time example we have taken, it's a classification, right? False positive, false negative. Okay. So we are talking about in that terms. So you should apply all. You can also use a F1 score. It will balance your all methods. false positive or false negative cases. Okay, don't worry about it right now. Like what is false positive, false negative, because this is a classification problem. You can watch my machine learning playlist for this one. Okay, so if I give you the layman example today here to understand it at let's say the simple example, you want to predict like whether the patient is diabetic or not. Okay, and you build the model, you apply the hair precision. Okay, and your precision is saying precision is too low. This means there are too many real, like your prediction may be flagged as a patient has a heart disease. Okay, so this means your like the cases is false, you are positive, right? Maybe the patient is not diabetic, but your machine is saying he is diabetic, right? And if a recall is too low, your machine will say patient is diabetic, or even they are not diabetic. Okay, so this is the thing. So this is a, you need a proper detail. I will make like on this, I will definitely make a video. It will help you to understand at a deeper level. But these are the things, these are the tools you are going to use at this stage, and you are going to evaluate your model using these all tools, matrices. Okay, this is all from scikit-learn. This is a your popular machine learning uh, what we call sorry library. Okay, now the next your step is, now we will jump on to the next step. This is your step 3. Okay, so we will make here, so here I have already told you, right, who is involved, data engineer, this one. So data scientist is going to perform model building, model evaluation and comparison, and your data analyst, data engineer is going to perform these first 2 steps. Okay, in case like in case you are working in the mid-sized company, maybe you need to do all these steps. Okay, so you should be aware with all these steps. So now we will move ahead with the third step, that is called, I will name it here, prepare for production. So now it's a time to prepare for the production, what model you have trained. Okay, so these are the steps a student miss. They only do the above the second step. I have seen you are only going to learn during the boot camp only those step 2. Problem identification you always ignore. Okay, you don't give that too much importance, which is the most important part. Okay, and then here what will be your task under this? So under this your first task will be, so we will like write down here. The first step is runtime environment. You will set the runtime environment. Okay, so here you can choose your like the common framework tools you can use. Tools you will use here cloud, because once your model is ready you need some platform so you where you can deploy it, right? So you can test it. The cloud platforms you can use from this one AWS, you can use Azure. Either if you want you can also use the Streamlit. Okay, so these are the tools you are going to use here, and you will learn the machine learning frameworks here, TensorFlow and Fast API. So why you are using this? Because when you are trying to deploy your model, you need some APIs. The APIs who can collect the data automatically and just keep on continuation to deploy. Tomorrow, when you are testing your model, which you have prepared, but tomorrow you have a new data too, right? So you don't need to do it manually. It will be done automatically using these tools. We also call it TensorFlow serving as well. Okay, so this is the machine learning frameworks you can use. Okay, here who is involved in this? Here the roles are involved. The one is your data engineers, software engineers, you need them sometime, okay? So machine learning architect, okay? So you need these three persons here. But if they are not there, you are the one, okay? But definitely they will be there, right? Because you need to set up the runtime environment, you need the software engineer to check, to add the many things in that premises, that services, right? So I will give you the real time example here. Let's say a real time fraud detection model it should be run on the cloud servers to process transaction with in millisecond, right? Because every transaction is happening in every second. So you need to set up automation process, and you need a help of data engineer who will build the pipelines using APIs, and you also need the software engineers. I will tell you where you need the software engineer now, because the second task for your is risk evaluation. This is the most important part. So in this you will check for the, what you are going to check for this one, you will check for the bias, if the model is biased, check for biasness of model, okay, and regularity compliance. So these are the two steps you are going to check here. Is there something happening? If something happened at a runtime, there is some risk or something related to your biasness of the model. So it is all handled under the your risk evaluation. And who is going to handle? Software engineer and machine learning architects. So this team is going to handle all these things. For example, if a fraud detection model should not discriminate against the users based on the race, gender, or location. Okay. So now the common framework for use this one, you will use for this one, you can use your here SHAP library. Okay. This is very popular. Okay, you can use this library to check for the biasness of the model, because it will show you which feature was used most of the time, if your model is biased or not. This is the best Python library which you can use. It is not from sklearn. SHAP is itself has its package. Okay, it's from different your package. It is not from scikit-learn. Okay, so now here we will move ahead with the next part of your the same process. This is quality assurance. Okay, this is also important part. So now you have set up the runtime environment, risk evaluation is done, quality assurance. Here you need the software engineers too, because they are preparing some unit test, performing it, right? And it will test and prepare your model before the deployment. Test and prepare model before deployment. Okay, this is very important, and for this you can use PyTest. This is very popular library for unit testing, and you can also use Great Expectations. This is one of the popular library for evaluation. Okay, very popular. Great Expectations. This is not the expectation English vocabulary. This is the library actually. Okay, and then we have the fourth step. This is your step 4. Okay, what you are going to do in this development to production, because now you have trained your model, right? You have check evaluated. Now it's a time to development to production. Okay, because you have prepared the environment now. Okay, so in this, who is involved? Here involved the data engineers and DevOps engineers. So they are involved in this. So what is their task under this? So the first task for them is scaling. Again, remember you did the scaling, normalize your data, scale the data in the step 2 when you will preparing the data. It's the same here. So sometimes you need to take the data, new data at this stage before the your development to the production. Tomorrow new data will also come when you will in real time it is going to predict the things, right? So your machine learning architect back here in the previous step, machine learning architect prepares some pipelines, right? And it will help you to automate your data at each and every step. If they are in the different unit, it's like here the duty of your data engineers, they will scale it again. Okay, so your model should not be biased, so this is very important. And then it also ensure if your large transaction volumes are happening, then it can control that. Okay, so for example on the Black Friday day, lot of transaction happens, right? And fraud at a high transaction speed. So for this purpose you can use which tool? You can use here Kubernetes. It will help you to actually put your everything at a one place. Okay, and you can also use the AWS Lambda or Google Cloud Run. So you can use any of the skill. I'm not saying you need to be master in all three. You can pick up anyone. Okay, you don't need to be master in each and every skill. And then the next step of this one is containerization. Containerization. Maybe you heard this word first time, right? So this is will package the model using Docker for easy deployment across the environment, because Docker is the one, it will do everything using the APIs and prepare the pipelines. You don't need to manually enter the data, it will handle each and everything itself. For example, a fraud detection model is packed in a Docker container. Okay, it's just like a container to ensure it runs the same way in the development, testing, and production. So this means it will make sure your process from starting from the development to the production, it should process in the same way. It should not be like there is a different way, or it should be scattered somewhere. It is very helpful to handle the runtime errors too, and it is a very powerful step. Okay, yeah, I have already told you you can use here for this one, you can use the Docker. You can also use the Kubernetes, I have already mentioned above. Okay, the third step is your continuous integration. Integration. What you are going to do this is going to be your the last step of your step 4. Okay, so in this you are going to automate model testing. So you don't need to do it manually, right? Everything will be automated using the Docker Net platform, Kubernetes. It will handle each and everything automatically. You don't need to perform anything again and again. This one retraining if new data is come up. Okay, retraining and deployment. An example is real time, like in fraud detection, model retains weekly on new fraud patterns. Okay, maybe like sometime new patterns. Some people are doing the fraud using the by you can say hacking the credit card numbers, password. Sometime it is changing its pattern, right? Every hacker has a different way to hack the system, and you're doing the fraud detect like the transactions, right? So it will handle each and everything using this one. Okay, and you can use it for the some students also use here GitHub Actions. This is very most common tool, and some students also use the here AWS. Okay, cloud formation. cloud formation. So you can use any of the tools. I'm not saying you need to be like whatever tools I'm mentioning, you need to be expert in each and every tool. You can pick up any tool and just learn one tool apart from your Python and these frameworks are also a part of your AI journey. Okay. Now this is a step 4. Now we will move ahead with the last step, step 5. So what is this? This is your monitoring and feedback loop. Feedback loop means like if something not working correctly, then you need to again go to the step 2. Okay. So every step will be repeated from step 2. Okay. So in this is the roles involved here. DevOps. DevOps handle your Docker net, Kubernetes, and that kind of the things, and data scientist. Because data scientists also need to look at the logs, how their model is working, and then they will going to perform. They will suggest you need to go to the step 2 again. Okay. So under these, what steps it is performing at this level? Here we will make this one, and it will perform your logging and alerting. It will create the logs and alert you if something happening. Detect the real-time failures or unexpected model behavior, right? It's a machine, anything can happen, right? So we should be prepared for that thing. So example, if fraud detection incorrectly flags 90% of the transaction, which is not possible. It's unexpected, right? So in that case, an alert will be triggered if you are applying these methods, okay? And the tool for this you will use, this is the one monitoring tool. You can use Prometheus or maybe Grafana. Okay, so I have like mentioned the most popular tool. Okay, and then you can check. But this is not limited to this one. There are many tools available too, apart from this. Okay, and then the second step is only input drift tracking. So here you will check if data distribution changes. Okay, because it may reduce the model accuracy for so you we need to keep an eye on this as well. We call it input drift tracking. Okay, so the common tools for this we use labs. Okay, this is a common framework. If I give you the very good example here, if customers suddenly start using cryptocurrencies, right, so the model might struggle because it was trained only for the credit card data. So what do you will do in this case? So that's why you should be prepared for this. If you have put this check and you are keep an eye on these things, then you can handle the things. Okay. So this is very important. Now, the last but not the least, if you want, we can this is the one performance drift, right? You can say performance check. So here you need to like do if compare the current model accuracy to the past performance. Let's say your past model was performing 90%, but now it dropped to immediately with the 75%. Okay. So it will trigger you. Okay. It will trigger the model. This is happening. So it is very like the useful if you are going to add this check too. And you can use for this your Neptune AI. Okay. Neptune.ai framework if you want. Okay. Although there are many tools available using Python too, you can check it out. I'm just mentioning the most common tools. Okay. So this was the your about the sorry. the machine learning life cycle. Okay, so the what was the, I will just do the recap. Okay, so first step was problem identification, right? Step one. What was the step two? Here, model development, right? Model development. This was the step two. This was the first step. What was the third step? What was the third step? You can drop in the comment box too. Okay. So this is you will prepare from production to development, right? Sorry, development to production. This was your third step, right? The next step was your monitoring. Sorry, deployment and monitoring. And the fifth step is the one monitoring and check. You can say trigger, right? So it's a very simple. Everything is done here when you are preparing the model, problem identification, then you need to prepare the runtime environment where you are going to develop or deploy your model. Why you need to do this step in the detail? Because you don't want your model stuck at any stage. You want to run your the production error free. So this is important. And then you will deploy it using the tools, and then you will keep an eye on this. If the cases I have told you, performance check if suddenly your model performance drop, if any new data come up, if your users are not using credit card and they start using cryptocurrencies, although your model was only trained with the credit card, so it will trigger you. So you can handle that kind of situation. So this is the worst scenario cases because our model was never trained for that thing, but you should be prepared for that thing. This is the complete machine learning life cycle. Okay, I understand. At the first time, maybe you find it a little bit like a complex, but believe me, you can draw this on your copy. And because I have mentioned the roles as well, but if it's again, you are going to join the mid-size company, right? They might expect each and everything from you. You should have that least knowledge. They will give you the help. I'm not saying you need to be expert in each and everything, but you should be aware. Okay, because being a data scientist, your job is only to develop a model. Being a data analyst, your job is only to do the data preparation. Or if you are data engineer, this is also the same job. But if you are a machine learning architect and if he is not there, then you are the one who is going to prepare the pipelines. Okay, so this is very important parts of the machine learning life cycle. And just watch this video again and again and clear your concept. And if you have any question, feel free to drop a comment in the comment box. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next video with the lots of more machine learning videos. Definitely, I will make a one video on your these tools, okay, in detail, how you can implement using Python. Okay, so stay with me. Happy AI coding, and like don't forget to hit the bell icon button, and don't forget to hit the like button if you like the video, and share it with your friends too. Thank you.